My sweet boy. Oh, Bella, say hi. Hey guys, it's me again. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. So the other day with one of my economics students, I was going through some 25 marker essays of mine. As you guys may or may not already know, I do one-to-one GCSE and A-level tuition online. If you guys are interested in that, check out my website in the link in the description. Feel free to Instagram DM me or leave a comment, email me, get in touch with me if you guys would be interested. Anyway, so we were just analysing and critiquing one of my essays and going through the way I structure my essays for 25 markers. And she said to me, hang on a minute, why don't more people do this kind of like layout and this kind of structure? Like, not many people know about this. And then I remembered a lot of you guys have been commenting under my economics video, my 15 marker and my general economics videos, that you want to see how to structure a 25 marker essay. So I thought, if this is a good essay and you guys want it, why not make a video just like my 15 marker? So in this video today, we're going to be talking about how to get an A* in your 25 marker essays, which is the bulk of your marks in your essay part of your economics paper. But wait, you guys know the drill. Before we get started, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below to keep up to date with all my videos, because I post weekly, regularly. You know, we're trying here, uni's hard. But yeah, let's just jump right in. So I'm going to be breaking this video up into two parts. The first part of this video, we're going to be discussing the mark scheme, the criteria, the sort of technical aspects of, you know, your 25 marker. And in the second half, we're going to be analysing 3 25 marker essays of my own, and I really want you guys to engage with that part of the video, especially because that is where the main juice and the goodness of this video will be. Some of the essays that we will be analysing later will be really good essays, like really good marks. I don't want to tell you the marks now because we have an activity to do later on in the video, which I can't really tell you the marks right now for. But trust me on this, you are going to need to analyse those essays, because that is going to be what helps you the most out of this video, I promise you. So please make sure you stay tuned for that part of the video, because that is going to be extremely beneficial to you guys. So we're going to start off by looking at the mark scheme. This is particularly AQAs because I was AQA. However, it's very similar across all exam boards, and as I tutor, this video will sort of be catered towards all exam boards, so don't worry about that. But yes, I will be using AQA's mark scheme here. So we're going to be aiming for an A*, right? And an A*, according to the AQA's past grade boundaries, that is 191 marks out of 240, which roughly is 79.5%. So I rounded that up and I said, let's aim for 80%, okay? That's the way I always tackle specific questions. If it's a 15 marker, aim for 12 out of 15, which is 80%. If it's a 9 marker, aim for 7 to 9 marks. For 25 markers, aim for 20 and above, right? Because 20 out of 25 is 80%. So that is your A* boundary. Here in the mark scheme, a level 4 response is 16 to 20 marks. So we're going to jump right into the level 5 response, which is 21 to 25 marks, okay? That's all we're going to focus on because we are aiming for an A*. So I'm going to show you guys a level 5 response over here. So pause the video now and read it. That mark scheme can seem quite wordy and very bulky and difficult to understand, right? Not to worry, that's exactly why I am here. So I'm going to act like the translator that you guys will need to kind of break down the mark scheme, understand what they want in a student-like, friendly, easy to understand and digest format. I've basically written my takeaway of the mark scheme here, and I will put it on the screen while I'm reading it, so feel free to screenshot this. My takeaway of the mark scheme is you need to have a heavy use of economic terminology, so keywords need to be used, but they have to be used correctly. You can't just shove any random word here and there without it making sense. It has to make sense. Use the data and information given to you in the data sheet. It's application of knowledge if used properly again. So you will get a context sheet and just some data to read through, right? And what you need to do is pick out information that will help you with your reasoning and your concepts that you're going to be writing about. If you can pick up some quotes and quote them and talk about that, that is going to be beautiful. That's going to be context and application, okay? Concise chains of analysis with reasons why. So chains of analysis were always kind of my strong point. At the start though of economics, I used to waffle, but you guys will see in the essays we analyse later that chains of analysis are very important in terms of the flow and the structure of your paragraph. Massive amounts of context, and I wrote this in capital because I never realised how important context was until year 13, right? Year 13 was when my teacher really said to me, you need to use more context, and at that time that she said that, I already thought I was using a lot of context. So that goes to show how much context you need to use. I've hammered on about context so many times in my past economics videos that you can watch, link will be here, but it's very, very important. You need to have a conclusion. This goes without saying, you guys must already know you need to have a conclusion, but you need to have context in your conclusion and you need to have evaluative points. Without your evaluation in the conclusion and without context in that conclusion, I don't think you can get over 15 out of 25 marks, okay? That's roughly what I was told. Now that we know just exactly what the examiners are asking from us, let me take you through the structure of a 25 marker. So usually you will have to have an intro, 3 paragraphs or 4 depending on the question, and a conclusion, okay? This is a structure that is very standard. I also abide by this. Funny story actually, in year 12 I didn't know that we were only meant to do 3-point paragraphs instead of 4, so I used to do 4 all the time until about a week before my final AS exam, because we had AS exams, right? So a week before that exam, my teacher was going through some stuff in the class and I found out we're meant to have 3 paragraphs, not 4. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, what? Why did I not know this all this time? So I thought, I've got a week left. I'm not going to change my structure last minute. I'm going to stick to 4. I did. Luckily, I got an A, which was the highest you can get as an AS. But I wouldn't recommend doing 4. If you can do 3, do 3 only, unless you have to do 4. Now, we're going to go through my structure of a 25 marker in terms of the way I structure my essays. I guarantee you, if you do all of these things, you will get an A star. I have no doubt about that. You start off with your introduction. You're going to have your definition of whatever the topic is, a briefing of your question, not always in a cringe way. And what I mean by that is not in this essay we're going to be talking about this and that topic. I hated doing that, and some teachers will say yes, you need to do that, and in GCSEs in some subjects, maybe English, whatever, they said you should do that. I never ever did that. Never. I hated it. I don't know why. I just found it very weird, and like, we're gonna be talking, I don't know, I didn't like it. And obviously in my GCSEs I did well, so that was not a problem. So I thought, let me do the same thing in my A levels. So I didn't do it in that way. You guys will see in a bit the way that I introduced my essays later, but I used to do it in a way that was kind of talking about the topic in a very explanatory way, rather than we are going to talk about X and Y, Z. I'd do it in more of a way that's like, this is the topic and this is what they're saying the conclusion is. I agree or disagree, and here I'm going to be discussing why. And of course you want to have context. You want to support whatever point you're making in your introduction with a little bit of context, background information, just to show you know what you're talking about at every stage of your essay. Then you're going to have 3 paragraphs. So in each paragraph, I would try and aim for a definition. If not, at least 1 to 2 times out of your 3 paragraphs, you want to have another definition besides your introduction definition. And then of course you have your chains of analysis, and then you want to have a diagram. I would aim for at least 2 diagrams. If you can do 3, even better. And then you want to have a however it depends on, so an evaluation. I call it however it depends on, but technically speaking it is called an evaluation. At least 2 to 3 times. I would try for 3, if not 2. And then you want to support your however it depends on with a given that statement. I think I briefly talked about this, but given that statements are so crucial, especially in your 25 markers. Every time you have an evaluation, always have a given that. A little bit of an explanation of the given that statement. So your evaluation is your however, this depends on X, Y, Z. Given that this has happened in the economy, given that this has happened in the news recently, given that is your support to support your evaluation point. And those 2 things go hand in hand. It's like having chips without ketchup. You just wouldn't have that, right? I mean, I wouldn't. And if you do, I don't know for you, but you know, you get the point though. Do not have evaluation without a given that statement. And then you're gonna have your final paragraph, which is your conclusion. So you're gonna start off by addressing the question and summing up your opinion essentially of whether you agree or disagree with the question. But also you wanna present a new idea. So I always try to present a new idea in my conclusion that I haven't discussed in my 3 points, because that way it's not really a 4-point paragraph, but I've got an extra point. I don't know, I just thought that was a bit of a safety net to me. Now the conclusion is really what can build your essay and build your marks up massively. I was told that you need to have 3 however it depends on points in your conclusion. I was never doing this, and I realized that that might be something that's stopping me, my evaluation. Roughly November-ish, October time of year 13, I didn't know about this, and so I was probably getting around 16 to 18, 19-ish marks on average in my 25 markers. Once I started doing 2 to 3, however it depends on, in my conclusion, my marks, oh my god, I started getting so many 20, 21, 22, 23 out of 25. If you have a however it depends on, you also need to have a given that for each however it depends on. So that is my structure for 25 markers. I'm going to put it on the screen for you to screenshot now. Now we've gone through the structure, I'm going to give you some rules that you have to follow. Firstly, aim for 2 to 3 diagrams at the minimum. Secondly, I've written here aim for 3 to 4, but ignore that. You want to aim for 5 to 6 evaluation points at the minimum. 3 in your 3 points and then 2 to 3 in your evaluation, ideally 6. Never have an evaluation point without a given that. Okay, they go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. It's your yin and yang, okay? Please make sure you have them together. And finally, 3 evaluation points in your conclusion is a must. If you've got one evaluation point in each 3-point paragraph, then yes, I can see you doing 2 out of 3 in your conclusion. If not, you need to have 3 in your conclusion. So now we've got all the technical parts out of the way, we're going to analyse 3 of my 25 marker essays. Now, I've got a bit of a game for us to play, okay? While we'll be analysing this together, I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below what mark you think it's worth. So if we analyse the first one, say I think the first one is, I don't know, 10 marks, 20 marks, okay, out of 25. And then once we're done analysing that, I'm going to tell you what mark I was given. By the way, I'm going to have all of these essays in the Google Drives in the link in the description, so check them out and feel free to analyse and have a look to help you out in your own time, okay? Essay number 1, discuss if large firms in the UK are more efficient than small firms. I've done a bit of analysis and annotation in purple. My teacher was in green, of course. So I've said that I've got a detailed definition, but I had no introduction to the question, which was quite important. Second paragraph, large firms such as monopolies. Here I could have given examples. So I could have talked about Google being a monopoly for engines, search engines, because it has 90% market share, or Tesco for supermarkets having 30% market share, are able to benefit from marketing economies of scale through an established brand image, as well as technical economies of scale through being able to bulk buy. This minimises their average total costs as they operate on a low point on the ATC curve, allowing costs to be at sea. And I've got a really silly error here, because as you can see on my diagram, I forgot to label the ATC curve, which was basically a schoolboy error. And then I've got a bit more explanations. They're then able to reinvest supernormal profits, which I should have specified, my teacher says, was it the long run or the short run, into innovation and technology, thus achieving dynamic efficiency through means which small firms can't obtain. That I've underlined is a direct link to question, because I've talked specifically about why, if large firms or small firms, which is more efficient, and I've directly talked about something that small firms can't obtain. Feel free to analyse the rest. I'm going to put it on the screen now, but to save time, I'm just going to analyse the last page and then we're going to discuss it. Moreover, small firms only make supernormal profits in the short run, thus they've got no incentive to invest and innovate their homogeneous products to differentiate them. Key term, homogeneous products, and then I've got another key term, dynamic efficiency, and then link to question which large firms are able to benefit from. And then I've talked about economies of scale, key term. Hence, their high costs means they aren't able to produce on the lowest point of the ATC curve, leading to productive inefficiency. And then I've got a very bog standard conclusion. I've got one however it depends on, and I've got no given that. So as you can see in this essay, at the time I had no idea about given that statements, otherwise I would have peppered them everywhere. Quick pause the video, let me know in the comments down below what you think I would have got for this essay before I make the big reveal. I got 20 out of 25 marks for this essay. As you can see from my teacher's comments, I probably could have improved through more analysis, maybe a bit more context and evaluation. But for me, I think that I could have improved by having more context, more given that, if at all any, because I hadn't had any, deeper analysis, and 3 evaluations in the conclusion. So that's essay number 1 down. How did you guys do in terms of your marks? Were you accurate? Were you not? Let me know. Essay number 2. Essay number 2, we're going to do the exact same thing. Let's go. Discuss how rising oil prices may affect macroeconomic performance. Again, to save time and not to bore you guys, pause the video, read the essay. I'll just be going through the analysis points, so not to waste time. I've said outline the question immediately, yeah, because it's discussed the rising oil prices on the macroeconomic performance, and I've got context, Saudi Arabia, OPEC members, Venezuela, you know? Given that, which is great context, this had effects on our economic performance since our macroeconomic objectives are low, unemployment, blah blah blah, which you guys know, which was an in-depth chain of analysis already in my intro, which was really good. The fall in supply of Saudi Arabian oil reserves led to a rise in price of oil due to the rise in scarcity. Concise point. And then I've got a nice chain of analysis because I've got a point and I've gone into explaining several different points. My however it depends on, which was a good evaluation point, on how quick the OPEC members are able to react to their supply shortage. Given that, yes, given that Saudi Arabia's oil prices were back to normal within a week, represents the fact that oil supply is quickly fixable and hence rises in price are not long term. That was super detailed. Go over that again if you want to kind of get all the juice out of it. If oil prices rise and as an economy we seek to look for alternative substitutes to oil such as renewable energy like wind turbines or solar panels, which is really good application of world knowledge, by reducing the level of spare capacity, key term, in the economy, we're able to shift our productive potential, key point, leading to sustainable economic growth as well as a rise in employment. Do you see the level of detail and analysis I went into? It's really important that you do a similar thing. A really similar thing in the third paragraph. 22 out of 25 marks for this essay. So my teacher thought I used very good key terms and evaluation and analysis, and I could have probably looked at long run and short run, so the extent of my perspective. In my opinion, here are my thoughts of my essay. So I thought I had good use of key terms as well, superb context, superb chains of analysis, and great at bringing points back to the question. I've got 7, however it depends on, 6 given that's, which is amazing. So important. However, subject specific knowledge could have helped build analysis. So like my teacher said, maybe analyze long run, short run a bit more, multiply a bit more. Now, moving on to the final essay of the day. Make sure you analyze this one and follow along carefully. So this 25 marker was from paper 2 A-level AQA economics, paper 2 national and international economy. Remember, all of the essays are in the Google Drive, so if you want to access these, check the link in my description. So the question was from context 2, question 8. Evaluate the view that maintaining low interest rates for a sustained period of time may be damaging to the UK's macroeconomic stability. Also, this was one of my mock papers, so this was done in exam condition. So just if you want to know, that's just have that in mind. Interest rates refer to a percentage of finance that banks demand in exchange for lending out money to firms or consumers. Good definition. Due to the 2008-2009 recession, good context, hysteresis majorly dampened consumer and business confidence. To counteract this, the Monetary Policy Committee lowered bank rates to 0.5% in 2009 and further to 0.25% in 2016 in an attempt to boost confidence in consumption. This is good because I had context and data, so I used stats, which is always good bet. If you know numbers off the top of your head, if you've researched this, always use them. It's always good to have some numbers and data inside your essays. It's good because I related it to the question. So do you see the recurring theme in all of my essays that I don't say in this essay I'm going to be talking about XYZ, and you don't have to do that to get, you know, 25, 24, you know, A-star 25 markers. You don't have to do that, but you want to introduce your essay in a way that subtly kind of talks about the question. So my question is about low interest rates and stuff, so I talked about the interest rates in the context that happened in the financial crisis. What did the Monetary Policy Committee do in terms of interest rates? Lowering interest rates incentivizes consumers and firms to increase borrowing as they'll have to pay back lower rates. Straight to the point, which is concise. This subsequently leads to a greater amount of capital stock, and hence, according to the New Growth Theory school of thought, if you guys know me, I love this theory. I used to rinse this in all of my essays for macro. This sustained investment, which is excellent application by the way, leads to an increase in economic growth from Y1 to Y2. This sustainable economic growth hence means that in the long run, it does not damage the UK's macroeconomic instability. if you read that from the start to that point, I had 4 chains of analysis in 1 point, which was very, very good. My chains of analysis were always my strong point. I always used to link my points in this way. So if you can pick up anything from these essays, is my chains of analysis. However, this depends on, good however point, if the technological advancements are coupled with the rise in skilled labour. Given that, great support. Given that the new growth school theory depends on why such advancements lead to economic growth, it's vital that an increase in investment is coupled with workers who can use such technology effectively. Moreover, if interest rates were persistently low for a long period of time, consumers would increase their borrowing and hence they're more able to purchase more expensive goods. Good point. Given that the USA is a tech giant economy providing many superior goods such as Apple products, which is a good example, a rise in borrowing would lead to a rise in net imports as a result. As net exports fall, this worsens the deficit we have on balance of payments, thus in the long run giving less business and demand to our domestic firms, causing a rise in long run demand efficient unemployment. There I had 5 chains of analysis in that single point, and they were all relevant to the question. So do you see how important chains of analysis and being concise, not waffling is? I'm not saying I started off in year 12 with exceptional analysis. I used to waffle a lot, but once you learn to be concise, everything is so much better. As the savings ratio has fallen and ... consumer borrowing has accelerated rapidly, which was a good use of source, the economy will face a large amount of strain due to excess demand. And here I've got my second diagram. I've got my trend rate growth and output gap. Furthermore, the rise in money supply due to low interest rates will cause long-run inflation to occur due to Fisher's equation MV equals PQ. Again, exceptional application of concept. Provided the velocity of money and quantity of goods remains constant, that is a however it depends on in disguise, okay? Because sometimes like however, so many times can get repetitive. I just said provided that instead this time. Now I've got my other third diagram. Thus, the rise in money supply leads to a rise in price and fall in value of money, leading to macroeconomic instability, which again is a good in-depth analysis just for however it depends on point. Again, however it depends on, if the velocity of money and quantity of goods truly remain constant, the limitations of Fisher's equation cause the reliability of this analysis to fall. Consequently, this depends on the change in interest rates. And finally, to conclude, I believe in the long run the fall in interest rates can lead to the economy falling into a recession due to asset price bubbles, which is a new point that I haven't discussed previously, and houses being overvalued, such as during the late 1990s tech bubble context. And this induced the wealth effect, which is a key term and a key concept of the financial crisis. Eventually, when the bubble bursts, the economy will be left unstable. However, this depends on, number 1, if the government take precautionary measures to offset this effect, such as contractionary fiscal policy leading to a rise in taxes, such as corporation or income tax, further reducing the incentive to consume. However, this also depends on the tax level that the government sets. It will only be successful if the tax is at a high enough level. So, comment down below your predictions for this essay. Done? Okay, great. I actually got 24 out of 25 for this essay. And it is a very, very good essay, as I'm sure you could tell. I had really good links and chains of analysis, 3 diagrams, which is really, really good. You aim for 2 to 3, which is great. I had 7, however it depends on points, 5 to 6 given that statements, great chains of analysis, which were very in-depth, and many, many definitions. I also peppered economic terms everywhere in this essay. My teacher even said I had good links between topics and it was well written, keep evaluating throughout. So, which shows you the importance of evaluating, which is why I had so much evaluation everywhere, because I had about 2 to 3 evaluations purely just in my 3rd paragraph. Although I should have had 3 evaluations in my conclusion with 3 given that's my conclusion, it wasn't as bad because I had loads of analysis everywhere else anyway, so 2 kind of did the job for me in this case. I do think though I could have got 25 if I probably had a bit more given that's in my conclusion. I always say analysing essays is so important, which is why we spend time analysing 3 essays today. So I really want you guys to pick up on that, and I hope you followed through right till the very end. If you can take away anything from today's video, it's the analysis that we did with our essays. I would love for you to learn from my good and my bad essays. And I said bad essays, they were all A-star essays. None of them were bad, but to get 25 out of 25 or near enough full marks, 24 out of 25, you need to follow the layout I said at the start of the video, and then apply it in the same way I did in the second part of the video in our essays. So that is it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys would like to see next in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a huge thumbs up and smash that subscribe button down below to see me and my puppy over there regularly. Now I will see you guys next time. Bye.